Let me bring you back in time a little bit. Right now, they're talking about a special new virus that's going around, and I'm sure TikTok won't allow this video to go. But let's just go back to some of the stuff that we've learned in the past 5, 6 years. Okay, so we have to actually go back when they're introducing something and they're saying that this one is like the rotavirus, where it's gonna be really violent for younger children and for the elderly. So it's gonna I don't know what they're gonna if they're gonna get you to run and have a vaccine, but I don't think that's really what's going on here. I think it's going to be when we got the last one, the mRNA, vaccine. I'm not a doctor. This is just my mind piecing things together from the past of what I've read and what I've looked into. This all I'm not giving advice. This is what I see as a likely possibility to what's going on. But there was a lot of strange things that were happening to people at the time when they first started doing the injections. There was one really strange thing that was happening to a lot of people, and there was a lot of videos on that where people found themselves to be metals would stick to them. They were taking coins or spoons and stuff, and they were sticking it on themselves. Even people that were in association, like lived, like a husband, say he didn't. He was one of the people that didn't want to, but she did. But there was talking about it shedding, right? So it could go to a person that you're sleeping next to, so you kind of pick it up that way, right? And so they were even magnetized. And it was happening so much that um it was setting off store machines when you walk in and out, the ones that scan you, and it was setting off, it was connecting almost like a cell signal to the TVs that people were going into Walmart or wherever in the TV section, and their body was connecting to it. So it was just like, whether that's true or not, those are, stuff that I saw, like probably you did. I'm just bringing it back to your memory of the videos that we all watched, right? Because, like I said, I'm not a scientist, I don't know anything. And so there was that really weird phenomena. But at that time, I know some of these things are true because I had my channel, Supernatural Life, on YouTube. And I had quite a big, well, not a big audience. I had an audience of thousands of people that were listening to me. And I was getting people that were telling me their personal experience of this kind of stuff, right? And I was listening to, it was a really small group of people that I was listening to, and we were chatting back and forth at that time. I used to be able to share websites and everything on YouTube. So it was back in that time when, before it was terribly censored. So this information got out, was actually happening to the people in their community, right? So these things were being reported. There was, and if you ever heard about Morgellons disease, right, where there's fibers and that grow, sometimes they're pink or they're red and they're blue, and this has been going on for a long time. A lot of people have thought that that had to do with the spraying that we get up. Like I said, they're probably not going to put this on, but the spraying that we get, that these people get, I've seen videos and pictures of people who are showing it in real time. Um, this disorder that was happening all over. It's just horrendous and terribly painful. But if you take that we have been sprayed with something, and something seemed to have come up with a lot of the morticians when they were doing autopsies on people that died from, strokes or heart attacks and that. And then they were doing the autopsies and they were finding these fibers that was just going all the way to the heart, like feet long, that were growing, seemed like the kind of like the Morgellons. Okay. So, anyways, I think it's always good to do a good parasite cleanse on a regular basis, and I do one on myself about once. I do it probably about once a month. Sometimes I do it even more often than that. For one thing, I have chickens and I have cats that go outside, right? So, they do bring in. You do have a problem with that when you're dealing with animals and stuff. So I may do it even a little bit More than that, sometimes it just depends, but you typically about once every 3 months. In Germany and that's common. The doctors test you for different types, so because there's a whole broad. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You can go and look it up yourself because there's a broad different. Not every one of them is going to cure every single parasite. So it's some people do multiple. And so what I do is I change, and I have a bunch of different um, that take care of fungus in your body and parasites and heavy metals, and it's just like a full detox. I do a detox bath like 2 or 3 times a week. Every time I have a bath, basically I do the whole detox. In the beginning, there was a lot of stuff at the bottom, but now I do it so much that that's not a problem. But again, that's something, and you be careful and look into that. And I'm not recommending you any doses or anything about doing detox baths. That's for you to look into for your own health. But it is a really good way of getting rid of a lot of that kind of stuff. And these are really good for getting rid of it. And those are like what you do is you do these detoxes to get rid of that, and you can neutralize it and kill it. And that was one of the things that, they didn't want that one a drug. They basically banned it here in Canada. It was really bad. From the hospitals, doctors were getting fired because of it. I remember the nurses of Edmonton, the Nurses Union of Edmonton. I've got the video somewhere. They had went on and said that they did not believe that what was happening was true, and that I can't remember exactly what they were saying, but they felt that the government was overstepping and things were not as critical as what they were saying, and they were causing problems themselves by the things that they were doing. You see what I'm saying? Like the ventilators, we found out that they were putting people all on that. And then we found out that's what it was. I had a friend that, was gone from that because they put him on a ventilator because of the way that this disease worked on the lungs. That was the worst thing. We found this out, right? And that was how we found out that parasite drugs that they talked about, we found out through that period of time that it cures the big C, or at least it does in some people, because of the one situation that happened with the one guy who had stage 4, and he was taking that drug that they banned everywhere, but it was a human drug to get rid of that. And he was taking it from his doctor at the time by prescription. And when he went back to his gynecologist, it was gone. And he reported that on a TikTok, and because of that, other people started doing it because that's what they do, right? And everybody was getting the same thing. They were all getting the big C gone. So, anyways, so just think about this. There's also another thing that I did when I was doing research about frequency is really important, like the cell phones that we're always carrying. Again, like going back to the magnetism, how they would set off, or the cell phones would connect to the people and stuff. Hey, so there's something there about frequency, that these things are picking up frequency, just in my imagination, if any of this is true. So if they change the frequency of the cell phones, which we carry everywhere because we have to now because of ID and everything, it could set off a cascade of these things multiplying quickly. See, they can do it in phases. If this was a plan, that it wasn't an accident. Just an imagination. If it wasn't an accident, it was a plan. They can do it in phases, and they can do it in even cultures. That's the reason why they collected your DNA for so many years. I'm just saying they were able to. Especially, they were saying there was different batches for different places. I'm just coming back and remembering all of the things that I learned about that. So could that be what's happening right now with that? Is it a different frequency that's coming out? Oh, I'm going to do a cleanse. I'm just saying, I'm going to do a cleanse. Never did any of those, but it doesn't matter because they're even saying that, yeah, I'm going to do a cleanse. Talk to you later.